Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's a little overcast today, but the lighting is rad. Everything stands out. We got new markers.
Yay!
Two. I say we. I did nothing. Brandy got new markers and then give them to me. I always take credit for other people's work. I hope I've made that abundantly clear by now. I stand here and talk about plants. They did all the work. I'm just like, look at this, his biscuits. Very pretty.
Yeah.
Next. But no, I hope everybody's good. We're meant to get a bit of rain today. That's okay. You know, speaking of that moisture that we got, really quick, because this ties in. So today we're talking about helping the garden wake up. Yesterday we discussed the hows and whys, and now today we're talking about helping it. And the moisture helps. So we got that heavy snow, you know, maybe a foot or so, depending on where in the city you were, on Friday. By Saturday afternoon, I was walking my dog, and in the low areas, yeah, it was still a little soggy, but on the higher areas, it was bone dry. And the ground just pulled that moisture in because it didn't get that hot in a 36-hour window for that amount of evaporation. A lot of that went into the ground. If you actually reached into the flower beds, it was quite muddy. And we're going to get more rain today and bring it on because literally last night I was out in my garden again. I'm out all the time these days, just looking. I'm cleaning it up this weekend, hopefully.
Yeah.
My daylilies are now this tall. I'll get a picture and send it to Brandy. So, you know, Mother Nature is doing a great job of waking the garden up. That's literally what she does. We're not out in the forests doing anything there. We're not out on the prairies. You know, how many people have been out and seen the prairie crocus?
Yeah.
Yeah, not actually a crocus.
Oh.
Yeah, it's actually an anemone. It's a perennial, not a bulb. And it is extremely toxic.
No.
Yep. Well, never occurred to me either, right? So I was reading about it, so I was like, I don't know that much about it. And never occurred to me, of course it has to be toxic. How else would it live on Nose Hill with all the deer and porcupines and rabbits?
Yeah.
And everything else? Yeah. So the little trichomes produce an oil that if you get it on your skin will cause like really severe rashes. If you consume too much, it can actually cause internal hemorrhaging.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it is like, but
this is a public service announcement.
Yeah, but if you just leave it alone and let it do its thing, it's a stunning plant. And the root system actually stabilizes the prairie. So we see little clusters like this. The root system can actually have an 8-foot spread and go down 10 feet.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're a wild plant. They're super cool. But again, we have done nothing to wake that plant up. Not a thing. It is popping up on Nose Hill because Mother Nature is taking care of it. The snow and the ice and the frost, and it is designed to take those conditions. So, you know, hot sunny days and then cool rainy days are exactly what the garden needs right now. But what can we do to help our garden wake up? So, you know, we all want to be out in the garden at this time of year. Even if it's just looking, even if it's just examining, oh, did this come back? Did that not come back? Did the trees make it through the winter? Looking. And first and foremost, the number one thing at this time of year I want to mention about the garden is I've got to start writing big here. Just dial it back at the beginning. I'm like, be gentle. Nobody, not even my dog is ready to go like that. He doesn't like being woken up with a start. He likes getting a scratch and then he wakes up and then he's ready to go. Nobody likes being woken up to a start. You know, your phone's ringing and it's an emergency, or you hear a loud bang or something like that. Being startled awake is not a good way to start your day. We like to wake up gently, and the garden is no different. I see people out there at this time of year or earlier, and they're raking and they're threshing the grass, pulling up all of the thatch, and I'm looking and they're pulling out live grass because the roots and the crown haven't established yet. It hasn't actually started growing. the ground is moist and soft and the rake is digging into it. So be gentle. And, you know, one of the things you can definitely do at this time of year is rake. But if you're raking, if you're out raking your garden, don't try and dethatch it, okay? When you rake, just go for debris, okay? And all I mean by that, maybe you cleaned up your lawn last year, you had time before the snow, get the leaves up. As you're going, get the branches up, any branches that may have fallen. Garbage that literally is blown in the winter, being covered by snow that you haven't seen. And if you go gently, you know, what ends up happening is over the winter, our grass ends up like that. And that's just the accumulation of the snowfall and the ice. It's had a ton of weight sitting on it and it's pushed it down and everything's kind of brown, might be greening up. Mine is greening up. It's 50-50 right now. Pass a gentle rake and lift the grass, okay? Lift the debris off and lift the grass. Get those blades up. You're going to allow air circulation. Any moisture that does fall is going to get down to the soil better. It's not just going to sit on top of the thatch. But do not like thrash your grass. Don't be ripping it up. There'll be time for that later. So raking is one of those jobs. A lot of times people look, and I've been guilty of it, we get busy. So again, I'm telling you the reason we do things. I am not saying if you don't have time, you know, don't do it, you're doing it wrong. There's been years I haven't even raked my grass. I've been too busy. You know, I chose gardening for a living. Spring is my busiest time. Then I've got my regular life with everything going on. I don't always get a chance to jump into the garden. But if you can, you want to do one rake now, get the debris off and stand the grass up. And then your second rake later on, as your grass is healthier, get the thatch out, clean it out. Then you're going to do a fertilizer and away you go. So that's going to help right away. And another thing we can do is maybe you didn't get a chance. Actually, you know what? I'm going to talk a little bit more about the debris really quick. It's okay to clean the debris out of your gardens, even out of your garden beds. But a mistake people make at this time of year, and again, being guilty of it, I'll be the first to raise my hand, is you go into the flower beds and you pull all of the leaves out and all of the dead branches, and nothing looks better. I love it. I love when I'm out in the garden for an 8-hour, 10-hour, 13-hour day, depending how bad it is. And I look back and it is spotless. It's pristine. The soil is being turned. The debris is gone. My lawn is standing up. You can almost feel it. You can almost hear it getting greener. And you're like, oh, that looks awesome. Except what you've just done by cleaning up all of that debris, and I'm not talking garbage, I'm talking organic, natural debris, is you have just removed the home of spiders and ladybirds and centipedes, which are garden friends. Now there's a cold frost or a cold snap or snow, they've got nowhere to go and they're going to die. So leave naturalized areas. If they're awake and they're flying around and you clean out some, but you've got a big pile next to the garage or something, they'll find that. Just don't clean it all. And I'm guilty. When I do something, I want to do it beginning to end. I don't want to break. I don't want to stop. I just want to get it done. Then I can check the job off and move on. And that applies, getting hairs in my mouth. That applies to garden cleanup as well. However, I'm actually setting myself back because the bad bugs, the aphids, they're going to be just fine. The good bugs need the help. So when you clean the debris, make sure you have a naturalized area. Then the two other major jobs we can do is pruning and cutting. And I don't know if we can see this one, but I'm going to change pages, and amending. So what we want to do right now is we go out and we assess the damage. And every year, I have a cotoneaster hedge. Every year there's broken branches. The branch died. Over the winter, it was completely dried out. The weight of the snow hit it, and my branch snapped. I've used brown too many times today. It's a red branch. It was a dogwood, actually. See how big it is? So now, my branch, it should look like this, okay? Sayonara, red. it should look like that, go to a nice tip. Instead, it looks like that, and it's broken. I want to prune that. And the reason I want to prune that is, if you remember, and again, we're going to go back to photosynthesis. As the photosynthesis is happening and the water is coming up, well, it can't get past this broken spot. So what the plant now does is it allocates sugar, and it goes, oh no, we better send sugar. It doesn't know how badly that is broken. It doesn't know that it can't fix it. Just like your body doesn't know if you have a small scratch or a big gash or whatever. It's sending the blood cells it needs to. It's sending white blood cells, and it's going to try and clot. It doesn't know that it shouldn't do that, that you need stitches or a bandage. Same thing. So snip it off. And the reason we do that, the reason we snip nice and clean, ideally back to a bud, is, and I don't know if anybody's ever cut themselves, but if you have surgery and they make a very precise cut, it heals like that. You ever have ripped yourself on a garden tool or whatever, and you've got a jaggedy gash, it doesn't heal as well. A clean cut will always heal better. Same thing with the garden. So that's why we do that. So get out and trim the dead back from your perennials. Prune back any broken branches. If it is a large branch in a tree, please get a professional, ask for help, do something. Every year I see somebody in a tree with a chainsaw who does not know what they're doing, and I can't bring myself to watch. Accidents can happen like that, and we don't need that. Small hedges, anything with hand pruners, go ahead and clean it up. And then, and I'm running out of time, the other thing we need to do is amend the soil. So much like our grass, our soil has become flat and compacted. And the roots that are in there, okay, they're now melting, but there's no gas exchange because of the impaction. So what you want to do is you want to take any kind of tool. My favorite, by far, the one I always defer to, is a 3-tine cultivator. One handle, and it's got 3 claws on it. I like that one. I'm very accurate with it. I also have a saddle hoe, and I've got a diamond hoe. They work as well. That's my favorite for the spring. And I'm going to add some amendments. I'm going to add some compost, some peat moss, worm castings, whatever. Maybe I'll change it up every year. Maybe I'll just use whatever's on hand. Maybe I'll come and speak to somebody. Maybe I'll put something different in my veggies, to my annuals. All you want to do is get something back into that ground to replenish it. And as you claw, what you're going to do is you're going to stir up these aggregates. And what happens is the compacted soil, you put your claw in and you rip, and now suddenly it turns. Now you're allowing a gas exchange. You're allowing moisture flow better down into the roots, and you're allowing it to wake up, because if you remember, the gas exchange happens leaf, stem, and root. Compacted, heavy clay soil is inhibiting that gas exchange, just breaking the surface. It's most of the time, depending on area, have people walked on it, the dog ran on it, whatever. Sometimes the mailman takes a shortcut in the winter, good on him. I would do the same. I'd get out the cold as quickly as I could. But that soil has become really, really compact. Most I've ever seen it too compacted from winter and walking is maybe max 4 inches, and I'm probably exaggerating. You just want to break that up, turn it, change it from that gray look to that deep brown look, amend at the same time, get rid of those early weeds at the same time. You can do a bunch of stuff, but be gentle. I see people and they're cranking, they've got a spade, they're digging their amendments like 6 inches, 8 inches, a foot deep. You're wasting your energy and your time. Just break up that surface. Just clean out that little bit of dead, or the dead foliage on the perennials you couldn't get to, and the broken branches. Be gentle, take your time. There's a lot of season left. No point, going gung-ho now and setting yourself back 2 steps because you ripped out your lawn, so now you have to seed and fertilize and do everything that, when the lawn was perfectly healthy, just needed to green up and have it fertilized. That's it. Always we can go on and on and on about this. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Stay dry. It's meant to be nice, and the weekend's meant to be lovely. We have a seminar, webinar coming up on the weekend, and Sunday I'm off, and I plan on being in my garden. So take care, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.